Okay, not these lights. Check out these lights. I think right now these are the best ambient lights that we've got for Tesla. ElecMod sent them over. They look really cool with this, like an LED, kind of like a screen. It's just depending on like how I can get the camera set up here, but it's just a wild looking LED thing here with the way it kind of fades up and down. It's not like direct LEDs. It's kind of crazy. I love this thing so far. Again, kind of best looking. And some things that make this kit fantastic is, first of all, we've got, this is, you know, the Tesla UI integration. So you see this, it just changes with the Tesla lights. So there's no more pulling up the app. It has an app, we'll get into that later, but you don't need it to do this. Got puddle lights down here, which also follow along with the lights. We've got an LED here that follows along. We've got these door LEDs here, which I really come to like a lot more. Depending on which kit you buy, there's also lights that go in the rear, under the front seat and behind the driver's seat. I couldn't get those. I'm not installing them. I will show you how to do that and install them. However, this is a Performance Model 3. My seats are different, so the kit doesn't work with these seats, but I'll show you how to do all that. Something else, to get them to light up here, some of the other kits that do something like this, they require you to wire up the door. These have little control modules that are wireless, so you do have to open up this panel if you want these lights in here, but no running wires. And that's what also integrates, the main module integrates here with the Tesla UI. So that's what makes this kit really unique and what I think maybe the best kit out there. Right now, these are available only for the Tesla Highland Model 3. Believe it or not, airflow is not restricted with this. So I'm going to show you more about what these lights do just right out of the box without using the app. And then we'll get into the app and everything else that they can do. So I did steal some install instructions. However, I interject a lot because the instructions are pretty good, but they don't cover a lot of things, including what we have in the US, which are these knee airbags down here. Makes things a little bit different. And also, they didn't really send me much instruction at all. So this video is going to be very helpful for you. All the links are below. Be sure to use my discount code TSLAUCAY. It always saves you a few more % than the discount codes that they put up on the screens. And it works at more than just ElecMod. Try it out. You know, I wasn't too sure about this door handle bit here, but it works out really well. And I think it works great with the Alcantara, because if this was some kind of a different plasticky surface, it would probably be like all kind of glary, but it's not. It just like works out really nice, you know, dims really nice. It just has that nice glow. And now what I'm going to do next is try and show you the app, which gives all kinds of other options. I mean, it's kind of crazy. And what this door handle light reminded me of is that using the app, you can actually program the turn signals to also, well, for this to coordinate with the turn signals and the AC and the heat, all kinds of crazy things you can get these lights to do. So let's take a look at that now. So as I said, the app is pretty cool. We've got an Android version, we got an iOS version. The Android version, it's a little bit strange. You can find it using this QR code here or searching Ray Bailey. I don't know who Ray Bailey is, whatever, but go into Play Store. You can search for Ray Bailey also. This QR code will bring you to the Play Store. You don't have to do some weird APK sideload or anything like that. iOS is a little more simple to download, and I'm going to be reviewing the Android version here. All right, keep in mind, I do not have the video synced up with what I am going to show you on the app. The video I have will be kind of random. It's not going to be based on what I'm clicking on the app right now. You bring the app up. For example, this is the connection to my car. If it's not connected already, you click the button to connect. It will connect. You can do this search for devices, but the first time, I think, I don't even know. It connected so easily, so quickly the first time. There was just no issue with it at all. You want to get into the app, then you click on its atmosphere light in the lower left. And these are basically the default settings, which, you know what, I like them. Right now, I'm going to leave it the way it is, but you know, this is what's great about the app, and you can do whatever you want. Open, close, so open, you know, everything just works the way that I show in the video for the most part. Close just turns everything off. Follow the car lights, so this will, you know, if you turn the headlights on, things like that, it syncs up with the car in that way. Monochromatic mode, that is the default. You've got this breathing pattern, infinite mode, loop mode, burst mode, music rhythm, kind of cool. It goes to the beat of the music pretty well. Not absolutely perfect, but pretty good, pretty darn good. Then, you know, you can change the color. You have global brightness, available for single color and infinite colors. So anyway, there's a little bit of restriction there, but you can see there are all kinds of different things to change. You want to really customize your colors. You change the speed of things there. Okay, illusory color. So this has even more modes: phantom, ghost, chasing, dazzling, music. You know, it goes on and on with these different modes of what these lights can do. Effect switching, you know, play with these. The lights change differently. Again, it's crazy. Customized colors, color lengths, color intervals, flow direction, forward reverse switch. It goes on and on. The flowing speed. You can change the welcome, you know, when you get in the car, it has a certain color, and this could change that. Welcome features, surround for a week. That seems a little strange to me. I'm not sure, is it only going to do that for 1 week? I don't know. Middle to both sides. Anyway, the welcome switch, so you can turn that off so it doesn't do it anymore, and so on. There's setup here, so radar correlation. I'm honestly not sure exactly what radar correlation does. Same thing, vehicle speed correlation. I don't know what that is. I haven't tested it. To association. Oh, so this is the turn signals. It will flash the left or right door handle lights. You know, that's maybe kind of cool to you. Air conditioning association. So this will put the lights on like a cold cool mode for AC, or a red when you have the heat on. You know, that's kind of fun, kind of interesting. I'm probably not going to do it, but you know, door open reminder, prompt sound, and so on, and you can reset it factory. So that is it with the app. Let's look at these. These are control modules. This is a master control, and then each one of these is for each one of the doors. And then the doors need lighting control for these. These are lights that are basically going to be going like behind the door handle, and they kind of glow nicely. So these will be pretty cool because they're also kind of active in that I believe they go on and off or change when, you know, you've got left, right signals, things like that. Pretty slick. You see we've got a lot of wiring. So these are footwell lights. All right, a lot of wiring here. Tons of wiring. These are for the doors, seatback lights. These lights here are for the dash, and kind of two parts, left, right. You know, they go together like this or like this. We'll figure that out. These are the seatback lights, and from what I can tell, this is like a fiber optic kind of a glow tube. So we will be putting those on. That's going to be pretty cool. And then again, tons of wiring. So this is going to interface with the OBD2 behind the center console, below the screen or vents, whatever you have there. And it's going to be kind of the main tap, and everything is going to kind of go off from there into the main control module here, and then out from there into all of the other various, whether it's doors or ambient lights in the front. Again, just a bunch of wiring for all of that. Zip ties, some Velcro action, and a lot of that is going to be for Velcroing and attaching these to the inside of the door panels. Okay, so The install is going to be fairly involved. You know, obviously we've got all kinds of wiring to be able to control all of these lights the way we want them to, and you know, active with the car. Once we get this done, it's going to be really cool. So let's get started.
First, use tools to remove the center console cover. Do not disassemble violently to avoid damaging the buckle. Remove the triangular covers on both sides and the lower cover as well. The bottom can be easily pried open and removed.
This panel is an airbag, and it's like a knee for the knees. And they don't have these, I'm almost positive they don't have these in China. This is a US only thing, and they have them. This is a 2024 Model 3 Performance. I don't know if they have them on the other Highland models, but if they do, the only problem with dropping this panel is that it requires you removing 4 of these bolts, and these bolts are E-Torx bolts. So not even Torx bolts, but E-Torx bolts, and these require a special socket. These guys, this is an E10. I'll have a link below. You can get these pretty cheap on Amazon, and I maybe paid 10 bucks for a set. Good to have, especially if you're going to be doing any other projects in your car, because the other panel that's under here, you can't get to a ton of things. The other panel covers, well, this panel covers like right here, and there's another panel back here that just kind of drops out. Also, the LED is here. The footwell LED is on here. It's not on the other panel. You can get to this without taking this panel off, but it's going to be, you know, it's more difficult, a little bit more difficult, not crazy.
The cover above the driver and co-pilot footwells is also removed. Unplug the top plug to remove. Remove the protective covers on both sides of the saddle according to the steps. Remove the cover under the rear screen. There is an OBD plug at the bottom for power plug conversion, and then use the traction harness to pull the wire to the passenger side. Use a wiring tool to pass the wires from the empty hole in the center console to the passenger's footwell, and pull the wires of the 2 red ports of the center control ambient light to the center console. The panel that controls the ambient light in the middle is divided into left and right parts. Remove the protective film and then know the fixed position. At the card fixing position, you need to use a flat blade screwdriver to pry open the space and insert the buckle into the gap. The installation method is the same for both sides. Use tape to fix the line heads apart. Avoid the buckle position, and then connect the port and fix it with tape.
Okay, to fish the wires from, well, really from down here to up here, you need to put some kind of a fish line, and I had a giant zip tie. I think these are used for like air ducts or something. It's like a 34-inch monster zip tie. Anyway, that worked really well. It came out right here pretty much right away. Now, I was going to try this next. This is just a heavier gauge wire. Probably would have worked. You know, it's like a little bit stiff in that. Unfortunately, that means you have to drop this panel down here.
Replacement of driver and passenger footwell lamp parts.
Okay, so this big bundle of wires is for the footwell lights. And how do we know that? Well, for one, it's the only big giant bundle like this. And another way is by using Google Lens. If you've never used this app before, it is amazing and can translate pretty much any language into any language. And as long as we get the text upright and straight, front footrest. So you can do this with all the labels. It's easier when you don't have trying to get everything on camera here, but this will plug into the front footrest here, master control, front socket, saddle contour, and then here you've got, you know, red and white. And I believe, let me try to explain the wiring here because, well, first of all, you're welcome, okay? I had no instructions here, just kind of trying to figure things out. There were a couple videos that helped a little bit, but anyway, so here's the main control module. And again, I should have already put a clip in there about using that Google Translate app. It does help a lot. So this is the main control module. This is the wire, the power that comes from the center console, you know, back there below the rear screen, plugs into the OBD. That comes here, powers up this, and then this is also part of that loom, and I've got it running over to here, and it plugs into, now look, I've got multiple things going on here, but it would plug in like right here. Since I've got another accessory, it kind of pigtails into this guy. So anyway, once you get the power plugged in and this plugged in, this is activated, and then you can plug in. This is the left side of the dash, this is the right side, but when you plug them in, make sure that, you know, you plug one in here and you see that the left side glows, you know, that's the left, and then this is the right. And by the way, how cool does this look already? All right, I love the way, I don't think the pictures do it justice, but the way it fades up is super cool. It doesn't really show that. Anyway, back to this. These two are not going to be used, okay? So don't worry about those. And honestly, I'm not sure if, I would just plug this in here. I did, and it's working, okay? Just plug this in here. So now this is what I'm going to explain next, and this should really, I think, help everybody out. So this is part of the giant, the big wiring loom, okay, that you get, the big bundle. That's what this is a part of, okay? That's what this leads from. And this is just some extension, but we'll get to that. It was plugged into the big wiring loom. And first thing is you use this Y connector to plug this LED strip in. This LED strip is going to go up here to illuminate this area. Then the next thing down the line are going to be the two ambient lights, the footwell lights, okay? So there's one here and then there's one over there. So I've already got this one plugged in there, And again, this is the Highland Model 3, so it may look a little bit different. I went over this already, but this is an airbag. It's a little bit more difficult to get down. But anyway, light is back there. That's already plugged in. And if you see, I've already kind of translated this one here. So that is where the first stop is to light that up. So you plug that in here. Then if you follow this down, so when you come down here, you'll see then you have to use this separate plug-in here. This is a 3-to-1. Now, my seats, I've got the Performance Model 3, and these seats are completely different in many different ways. I don't have the light underneath the seat, and this light would be seen from the rear. So while this goes on the underneath the front seat, you know, when you're sitting in the rear, it's a footwell light. I don't have this, but I'm plugging it in here just to show you. And then these two will plug into the rear seat back light, which I'll show you here in a minute. And again, with the performance seats, I'm gonna try it out on the performance seats, but it's not really made for the performance seats. I don't know if it's going to work, but anyway, we'll get to that in a little bit. So anyway, that is the passenger side for this. Okay, so now again, if we follow this along, then for the driver's side, again, you're going to plug this in here for that centerpiece, and then this, pretend that this is going to be over there, and we're going to have to go through here, which shouldn't be too bad. I'll show you how. We're gonna have to go through here to get to that, to get to the other side. But anyway, skip that for now. Let's pretend we're over there. So we're gonna follow this along, and this is going to be for the front, okay, underneath, just like this, underneath the dash. All right, then this is going to go to the back of the driver's seat, and then we've got the, again, this 3-to-1 connector. The center short wire is going to be used for this footwell, and then these two here, this is going to be the rear of the driver's seat, and you have to use these connectors here, which is basically just like an optical output, light output. And these are, you know, these kind of optical tubes here, but they require 2 of them. So that's what the deal is. That is the plan. Again, I'm not sure this is going to work for my performance seats, but I'm going to try. But you know, this kit, you don't need to buy the whole kit for this rear piece here. You could just buy, you know, for the front, which would include the footwell, you know, underneath here, and the dash, and maybe the doors. Now the doors, that's a whole separate thing. We'll get to that in a minute. I just wanted to help straighten out this wiring here to give you a high-level view of what's going on here, because it seems like really confusing at first, because you've got all of this main wiring, you've got all of these separate plugs, and they Y off, they T off, and it's like, what the heck goes where? And then all of the writing here, you know, Chinese, Cantonese, I can't read. That's all I know. I can't read that, so I use that Google Translate just to kind of help get me started. Anyway, so let's get back to my stolen video footage, because they show some of this, but it's not clear exactly what they're showing at all. So anyway, hope this clears it up.
Then route the footwell lamp harness to the driver and co-driver footwells, and the bottom of the driver and co-driver seats to install the footwell lamp and fix it. Arrange the wiring harness and first insert the power plug, the footwell light plug, and the white OBD protocol plug on the side. The ambient light on the center console needs to distinguish the left and right ports. The left is on the left, and the right is on the right.
Okay, to get to the other side over there, it's really just, you know, you can see this if you've taken this panel off, which you kind of should have already. You can see down there, that tunnel goes all the way through, and that's how you get the wiring to the footwell light on the other side. This little light strip, literally you just kind of push it in here. Alright, that's really it. And then over here, pushing this in there. Now, I do worry a little bit that it's sitting in there, like I didn't have to push it very hard, so it makes me wonder how well it's going to stay in there. Maybe probably a little double-sided tape would be good to throw on either end of this thing, both ends. It pushes in there really easy, so you know, it should be okay, but just keep that in mind. And then you don't want to push it in there too far. If you push it in there too far, you're probably not going to get light out of it well. Well, it's a little hard to tell. I'm sure this isn't showing up well on the camera, and it's not very dark in here, but yeah, you can kind of see some glow. I think at night it would glow up pretty nice.
Next is the installation steps of the door panel. The installation steps for the left and right doors are the same. Unscrew the 3 screws of the door panel and pry open the door panel to remove it. The door panel can be removed after unplugging.
All right, so let's undo this first. This is the door lock, I believe, and it comes off just like that. This unplugs. I think that has to come down, that red part, and then push that clip in, and that comes out. And then this door lock cable comes out of here. We are going to place the light under here.
Pry open the cover under the door arm.
All right, now these are the two for the front. And how do we know that? Well, if we look right here, you can see a little FL, okay, front left. Here, front right. This says rear left, and the other one says rear right.
Armrest, and then install the armrest light, paying attention to distinguish the front, back, left, and right. Pass the wires inside and replace the bottom cover. On the back of the door panel, use a prying tool to pry open the port of the original door panel ambient light and use an extension cable to transfer. The tail end of the extension cable is connected to the control box. Note that the 4 control boxes of the door panel need to be distinguished between the front left and front right and the rear left and right. Then connect the red port of the armrest to the corresponding position, and then fix the control box. Then restore the door panel to its original position.
All right, so I've got the extension cable connected here, and then I tucked the wire in with this one here and these clips, plugged it in here, and this is actually front, and I would highly recommend that you plug this in. Plug this into a light, and if you've already got it attached, it won't be as easy, but you know, you could take another one, plug it in, just to make sure it works. So now I'm going to stick this Velcro on and put it in here, and then use some of the zip ties and make sure this is zip tied down, any of these loose wires, because same thing with this here. Any loose wires you want to zip tie down, otherwise when you shut the door you might hear some, you know, some little clanging in that, and you don't want that. Putting a door panel on, it's not that difficult, but there's some things you gotta look out for. I had a little bit of a hard time kind of aligning it, because it's, you know, unless you know exactly where it goes, in this case left to right. What I did was I looked for that tab right there to line up with this right here on top of the tweeter. Make sure there's this whole tweeter assembly is attached to the door panel still. It can come a little bit loose removing the door panel. So you just try to line up that tab with where it fits in there, and then that helps you line it up left to right. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'll show you some more tips on how to get this door panel on without breaking these tabs, because I've done one already, and guess what? I broke one of these tabs. Okay, so I'm watching the tweeter to make sure left and right is good, and then I'm also looking to make sure that I am pushing a little bit to make sure that this lip here all the way down goes over in between right here, in between these moldings. So it's not that difficult. You just have to put a little bit of pressure on here. Don't put pressure down there, put it up here. Okay, tweeter is lined up, so I'm bringing it down and I'm pushing a little bit on the top, a little bit more over here, and then pushing down. But now this is the part you got to be careful. This is where I ran into a little bit of trouble. The door panel, I had it, the whole thing was kind of pushed in, and I was pushing down, and what happened was I broke a clip. So I'm going to pull this out just a little bit, and then watch to make sure that that lip is going over into that crevice. Just kind of lightly pushing down. Okay, so I think I'm pretty close. Before you just start shoving the door panel in, look at these pins, make sure that they are lined up with the holes. And you kind of have to do that everywhere, because even though I had these, for example, on the other door lined up, down here they were not. So let me get this in, and then I'm going to check the pins over here too, you know, by looking in there, making sure that they're lined up, and then I'm going to push in. And you don't need to like pound this thing in, you just kind of push it in. Let me see if I can really hold this camera while I'm doing it. But yeah, you see that they start off easy, they're like real easy, they just push in, no problem. So don't think you've got to force them, because as soon as you start to force things, you will break these pins. The other thing to look for, especially on the other side, is to make sure that this padding isn't blocking any of the holes. Okay, so I'm looking at these right now, and these are lined up, so I'm just gonna kind of get them started there. Then I'm gonna look all down here to make sure that these are lined up, and then just start gently pushing these in, because yeah, you know, again, these pins, they break pretty easily, and if you do break one, it's really not going to be that big of a deal. There's so many of these pins, it holds the door panel in there really well. The other side, I've got one, maybe two pins that I broke just because I really wasn't paying attention. I was in a rush, and all right, enough said. And I broke two pins, but after putting the whole door panel back, I was kind of pulling on it, and it feels completely fine. I can't tell that these are missing at all. So anyway, I'm going to check that, and then we're going to push it in gently. Okay, everything is lined up. So I'm putting pressure on all those points, but you don't have to pound it or anything like that. Now let's get these screws back in, and put the caps back on, and the door panel will be done. Again, make sure that you test this before you put the panel on. Not that you can't pull the panel back off again, but just make sure you electrically check everything to make sure that it's working before you do this.